So let's get right into it. Where did you come from? Where did you go to school? What did you like to do? What are some of the things that you like to do? And now, I guess with your business, marketing, what kind of marketing efforts do you do right now for your business to try and make it happen?
And there's people asking for recommendations every day.
That's right.
Recommendations for anything, not just medical.
What was your first business? So today we're at the Relentless Podcast. I have Thomas Longo here. We're going to go over his business, where he's come from, like where he decided, hey, I'm going to go into this type of business, what struggles he has going on, and then how he can help us, my viewers.
Yeah.
So Thomas, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get right into it. Where did you come from? Where did you go to school? What did you like to do? What are some of the things that you like to do?
And I come from an entrepreneurial family. My father has owned car businesses his whole life. So I really started at a young age, being a workhorse pretty much.
Sure.
At 12 years old, I'm there washing cars, detailing them, getting them ready for sale, delivering them. I get into sales a little bit while I'm there too.
Right.
And then I, go through high school, work in restaurants, and then head off to college. In college, worked through restaurants, all that kind of stuff. So I've always been in like the sales industry type thing.
So sales and I guess customer service.
Yeah, sales, customer service, and I firmly believe any business that you run, it doesn't matter what you do, you're sales, right?
Absolutely.
If you're a contractor, you have to sell to be able to provide your service to the customers that you're working with. Could be anybody. Digital marketing firms, all that kind of stuff. You have to sell your product.
Right. You have to sell yourself.
Exactly. Sell
you have to believe in
yourself
yourself
and your product.
Absolutely.
So it all comes down to the background of selling and how to talk to people and be able to communicate and relate and provide that trust and value, right? So going through all the college and everything like that, I built that kind of confidence up to be able to move into the field that I moved into, which was healthcare. Not necessarily being a physician, but providing patients an output to be able to find doctors that can treat them for what they need for the type of insurance. And we all know how hard it's gotten, right? Your insurance only provides certain things. You have to find the correct doctor. You have to find the correct avenue of what you need. You might break your wrist and you go to your primary care doctor. They can't treat you. You have to go to an orthopedic doctor. So that's really what made me develop a platform that provides patients that easy access to physicians.
Sure.
No long wait times. You don't have to wait a month to get in, all that kind of stuff. So Injury Help NJ really helps patients get into the facilities faster, find the right doctors for the insurance that they have, and helps them get treatment faster and
That's
get
great.
back on the road, right?
Okay, so injuryhelpnj.com, right?
Yeah.
That was developed to help people, obviously, fast track into getting to the right treatment, to the right doctor right away.
Correct.
So what does that look like? Do you fill out a form? Does someone
Yeah,
call
so
you?
you go on, you fill out a form.
Okay.
It was either be me or my partner, Danny. We'll call you. We'll see what you need. We'll get you into the doctor where it's local to you, and that takes your insurance, and then we pretty much provide that connection.
That's great.
Right there on the phone. Yeah. So.
Yeah, having someone like you, because I know you've been in the medical field as long as I've known you.
Yeah.
That's a great feature because a lot of times people are lost, and it's almost like they had to figure it out for themselves. They're calling the insurance company, and a lot of times you got to go through a lot of hoops to get where you need to go, and sometimes it's not covered, or maybe it is covered, but you have to fight for it. I feel like having someone like you in their corner.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is definitely a bonus.
Yeah.
I never even knew that was something that was available.
Patients are lost. We see it all the time. And use social media, right? Like
Sure.
You go on any page, any company or any, town page, right?
Sure.
I live in Medford, so I go on my Medford page. And there's people asking for recommendations every day on
That's
there.
right.
Recommendations for anything, not just medical. Recommendations for, showcase remodels,
Right.
right? Recommendations for endocrinologists, recommendations for paving, recommendations for lawn care, fences, down the list. And you have that network of people who do home remodeling and fencing and paving and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure that's your pie, right? Like you
Sure.
could probably pull from that a little
Absolutely.
bit. So that's kind of the thing that we've been tracking. Like, there's a lot of people going online trying to find who they can go to, even though it's blasted all over the internet, right? If you go into Google and search, contractor near me, you have 100,000 come up.
Sure.
But like, who's trusted in your area? That's the question that we're trying to reach.
Absolutely. So I feel you have a very unique opportunity to get on, because I honestly, I never even knew that was a thing.
Yes.
To become the guy for insurance or medical and easily take over anything, the market by storm. Not only that, I feel like that could be like a household thing where, hey, we already know just by using social media.
Yep.
And a lot of things you could do, I guess past clients that you've helped, interview them, put that on Facebook, and people go, maybe they're not sick now, but in a year or 2 years, or maybe their moms get sick, God forbid, dad gets sick, or needs some kind of ailment. Now they know where to go, because honestly, I wouldn't even know that, and I know you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think being present and also putting out what you do on Facebook and social media, especially I tell for contracts, I'm like, hey, I'm a potential client, right? And I'm a former police officer, so I'm going to hire a contractor for my addition. Well, I go on your Facebook, and all you have is these religious things that you're against God, and you have these political things, and you're far right or you're far left. I'm probably not hiring you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, well, I already see what type of person this is. Why wouldn't you show, you want your family and stuff like that, but, not that I want you to keep religion out of your Facebook. You believe in God, great. That's good. You can put it there. But, if you don't believe in God, I probably wouldn't be posting that around, just because people that necessarily, they might judge you, and, people, as much as I said not judgmental, they're going to judge you. And I know for me, you don't believe in God, and you have all these poor values, and you're giving the finger, and you have a gun in your hand, and on Facebook, or you're smoking weed or whatever you want to do, even though weed's legal now, that might not be the message you want to put out to your audience.
Yeah.
But
100%.
Getting back to you, I can't imagine you not taking over with social media. You just need a little bit of that, and oh my God, I think you have something huge here.
Yeah.
You really do.
We're cranking it out now without really posting on social. It's just
That's
word
amazing.
of mouth. We're doing a lot of like in-person networking, stuff like that.
Yep.
But, to go on what you said, I tell all the clients, because the doctors that we're using and we're sending to, we're not getting paid by them. Like, this is a completely free platform. So it's the doctors that we speak to, like, where people are going to be searching you online. So make sure that your brand is what you're trying to portray online, because that's so important. Because
absolutely.
Any customer in any business that they go on and they search up a product, or they see an owner or something like that, if you have something on there that's not appropriate, you're going to push customers away, and they need to trust you before they come to you. I tell physicians this, like, if I'm getting spine surgery, I don't want my physician on Facebook, smoking weed or blasting out social media posts for political reasons or whatever, right?
Absolutely.
So you just got to be appropriate on social media, especially in your professional area.
Sure.
Right? So,
absolutely.
So I totally agree with that. Absolutely.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So what are some of your goals for your company this year and within 5 years?
Yeah, so like our goal right now is really to grow that physician network, because we want to be able to place not only NJ, but we want to be able to help with PA, New York, like a tri-state, Delaware. So that's really the growth right now, is we're trying to find physicians that are looking to come on with a platform like this that can basically book book patients within a couple days. Mostly take every insurance, so it's very easy to place patients that come through the portal.
Gotcha.
So we're looking to grow our physician base, looking to grow our awareness to the consumer as well.
Sure.
So those are two definite goals for this year.
Got it.
100%.
Do you get involved with kind of giving advice for healthcare itself, as far as which way to go as well?
Yeah. So advice for patients' healthcare.
Yeah, like as far as, hey, which healthcare is going to kind of be a little better, because I know like with insurance with people's homes, I tell you stay away from this, and this. They advertise a lot, but since they advertise a lot, they really don't cover it all that well.
Yes. So health insurance comes down to what you're paying for.
Gotcha.
And it's just like your business. You get what you pay for, right?
Absolutely.
So like people can't afford very good policies. They don't get great coverage. It's just like auto insurance. Like
Sure.
we take auto accidents too. So if a patient's in an auto accident, they can go onto our website, workers' comp injury, all that kind of stuff. They can go onto our website, fill out the form, and we'll find a doctor that'll treat the auto insurance for them.
Got it.
Most patients go to their primary care doctor after getting an auto accident, and the primary care doctor doesn't know what to do.
Right.
They don't know where to send them, so they usually say, call your insurance company, and then they run you down a road. The road,
Yeah.
right? So we want to make sure that this is your auto insurance is the same way, right? If you're paying a minimum of a premium and you're not going to get great coverage, so with that coverage that you're getting, you're not going to get great health care. And it's unfortunate because there's a lot of patients who can't use their auto insurance coverage to be able to get those bigger treatments that they need because the auto insurance will deny them. And they'll have to go back and fall back on their health insurance, which they also might not have a great policy.
Sure.
So it's really educating yourself with other insurance brokers. Like I have insurance brokers that we use to educate patients, educate customers and stuff like that on how to buy an auto policy.
Got it.
Right. And I think that's probably the biggest education hurdle right now.
Right.
Is there's so many people driving around with $1 a day policies because,
Sure.
So-and-so is on TV and it's cheap. Right. So that's kind of where we're running into issues majority of the time is we have people driving around with horrible auto insurance. And if you get whacked and they have horrible auto insurance, you need to make sure you're covered under your underinsured motorist.
Sure.
So these are all things like variables and hurdles and all that kind of stuff that doctors' offices have to go through every day. So a lot of what I do is help them to navigate these situations.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So going to the business side, because that's what we're kind of talking about here, entrepreneurship. What was your first business?
So my first business, I would say, is the car dealership.
Got it.
I love that. I still do. I still help my dad out when I can, social media, stuff like that.
Sure.
That's my first love.
Yep.
I love cars.
Oh, yeah.
I'm infatuated with cars. I still have a old school Bronco that
Nice.
That's
great.
Try and spend some time to work on, right?
Sure.
I have 2 kids now, so it's like
That's great.
very, very, very far down my priority list, but it's still there. I took my daughter for a ride in it the other day.
That's great.
She loved it. First ride, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So now, I guess with your business, marketing, we'll go over marketing first. That's kind of the first thing. What kind of marketing efforts do you do right now for your business to try and make it grow?
Yeah, so social media is huge. I've always used Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok,
Right.
pretty much to grow. I mean, it really depends on the audience. So like our audience is a little bit older. We need at least 18 or higher, right?
Got
18
it.
or older.
So your target market's
we're-
18 plus.
Yeah, so our target market's mostly like Facebook, Instagram.
Okay.
TikTok's a little bit on the younger side,
Yep.
so
Yep.
we utilize that, but we don't see a lot of traction on there.
Sure.
But yeah, Facebook and Instagram, social media. We do a lot of like video posts.
Okay.
Once we start getting our traction a little bit, we'll start putting different physician offices on there that we work with, highlighting them, those kinds of things.
Got it.
So that's going to be down the road plan.
Yep.
But
So you just do social media like kind of local groups right now, or doing some paid ads, or you haven't really messed with that
no paid ads. Everything has been organic traction right
Okay.
now, which is
Got it.
which is great.
It's excellent.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
Yeah.
So I think a mixture of, in the beginning, I call them bullets, right? Like Jim Collins, Good to Great.
Yeah.
You try the bullets first, which is social media. Then once you see that what's working, then you put out the cannonballs, right?
Exactly.
So I think, talk about $1 a day strategy. Dennis Yu, good friend of mine, he's a $1 a day strategy with social media marketing.
Okay.
And what he does is, say a post gets a decent amount of traction organically, he'll take that post, he'll run it against $1 a day, see what kind of traction he'll get as far as viewers. Then once he knows he has it, that's when he'll boost that post up.
Okay.
And those usually do phenomenal. That's why a lot of companies will waste a lot of money putting sponsored ads out there and don't get the return because they're not doing $1 a day.
Yeah, they. I find it's also too that we find a lot of the customers and the doctors that I work with, they just hire a company, they put out a sponsored ad, and it has nothing to do with their audience
Exactly.
is looking for, right?
Yeah.
So it's really dialing down and targeting who your audience is,
That's right.
and finding what they're interested in, and then posting a sponsored ad for that information.
Correct.
Right? So it's
Correct.
so many people just shotgun fire.
Oh yeah.
And see what sticks.
That's
And
it.
unfortunately, you're wasting a lot of money that way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Plus, if you're sending out the wrong message, that could actually work against you.
100%.
So I feel like, especially in the doctor in the medical field, everyone, you need a specialist, and one guy works on whatever arm repair versus your heart. You don't want the arm doctor working on your heart.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
And
If
if
it
you're not putting it out there-
even comes down to if you scroll through your Facebook and you see a doctor that you're actually looking for, like I need an orthopedic doctor, but now I see an ad for an orthopedic doctor in Utah. Like, well, how is that helping me? And he's paying for me to see that ad.
That's right.
So you got
right.
people.
Misuse of money.
Yeah, you just got to figure out how to target your local areas, all that kind of stuff. So
Absolutely.
that's something I kind of coach medical practices too on, and it's unfortunate because a lot of people just hire companies and they throw money away.
Right. They don't specialize in the medical field.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they're just a marketing company that can market anything. So
Correct.
do they market it well? Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't care.
No. Yeah, they're using their marketing budget.
Yeah. Exactly.
So other than Facebook, you do like local events too? Or?
Yeah, we'll do local events. Most of the stuff we do that seems to provide traction is just in person.
That's
stuff.
great.
We go into primary care doctors' offices, stuff like that, and let them know what we're doing, and they direct their patients to use us because they don't really know where to send them anyway. So
That's great.
they say, hey, here's a place that you can call that will help you direct you.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So that's kind of where our target market is right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then as far as expansion with the marketing, how do you see that? How you see that working for your business as far as going up to New York? And is this something where you have to actually go there? I mean, obviously, and visit some of those doctors, or are you thinking maybe have a rep up there that runs that section of your company?
Yeah, we'll probably expand to have different brand names too. So right now we're Injury Help NJ. So we'll eventually open something up that's Injury Help PA and
Sure.
Injury Help New York and kind of expand that way.
Right.
We'll have a rep in those areas. We'll have digital marketing in those areas.
Sure.
We'll make sure that we really dial in and see what's needed over there too.
That's
you
awesome.
know. And every state has different insurances.
Oh, yeah.
So we really have to hone in and figure those things out too. There's a lot of variables for healthcare.
Yep.
So
Absolutely. Now, have you got into any of the AI
yes,
features? Like,
yes. So social media is 90% run by AI.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yep.
our social media is run by AI, but all the organic general content we produce ourselves.
Sure.
So as a business owner, what hits home with your customers
Sure.
online.
Yep.
I heard you earlier talking about the views, and what works and what doesn't, and that's kind of like AI is never going to figure that out,
No.
right? So unless for some reason it becomes probably in the future it'll be able to do that,
Right.
be able to tell which post is making home runs and make more of those, right?
That's
Make
right.
more of those posts. But right now it's just it's a platform that posts a day,
Right.
And it's very general, very salesy, very addy,
Right.
right? It's you want to make sure that you have organic content on there too.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people tend to like the organic a lot better than
Yeah. I mean, AI is great. ChatGPT writes 90% of the emails now.
Sure.
We're looking into other stuff like they have call centers run by AI now,
Sure.
too, right? So we can figure that out as we move down. It's just less empathetic, I
Right.
think,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So we want to make sure that we have a personal connection with everybody that calls in.
Sure.
To make sure that
Like
we're
that.
taking care of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like everybody that we deal with is family for
Yeah.
us, right? And we care about them. So that's what our main goal is, like drive that home 100%. Our mission is family. That's it.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
yeah.
That's great. I think the newest thing I just introduced into my Gmail was it's called Seraph.ai.
Okay.
So every email that comes in, it auto generates an email back to them, response with my name and everything, or whoever's name needs to be, and it scans
That's impressive.
every single one of my emails,
Yeah.
and there's a few 100,000 from the beginning to know how I talk to different people.
Wow.
So if it's a person I've done before, they already know how to respond to them.
Okay.
So
Does it do like new emails, like new email blasts that you could
doesn't do that.
Like generate a list of emails and blast out to like all new prospect contacts?
So I have another one that does automations for that.
Okay.
That is a platform that I built out for myself first, but then I did it for a couple contractors. Basically, what happens is a lead comes in, it automatically goes new lead in. It's called immediately by my call center, which is 2 doors down. They don't get it. It automatically goes to AI, because they move it, called, didn't get no appointment.
Okay.
Now it knows it's in a category. Now at 7 o'clock, another person calls from the call center. So now you have morning, then you have night. In between, you got a text, and then later on, you have an email. Hey, this is what we offer. This is our salesman. This is what there's a picture of them, and here's one of our testimonials. Boom, so they can watch that.
Wow.
Well, and then click here. Book your time now. They can book it on Calendly, or they can call and talk to somebody about maybe the price of the bathroom, whatever it may be. When they call, they get the call center. If it doesn't go there, another text, another email the next day. You know what I mean? And then again, it does it the next day. And then say they do book an appointment, goes out there, estimate sent, automatic moves to another one, and he's got different automations. So all those automations are built in. You only need to do it one time.
Super important too,
Absolutely.
because like how much would that cost you to have that done in person?
Oh,
right?
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
huge. It would be a huge cost compared to what you're probably paying
Definitely,
right now.
definitely.
And it's important for every industry. Any industry, this is like super important for medical, for auto sales, for contracting. Like having somebody follow up on the leads that you're getting in. 90% of the business owners that I talk to, they don't do that. They call once, they don't call back.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, we get about 17 calls a day for the bathrooms. The automations account for 43% of new interaction with these people that we haven't got on the phone.
Yeah.
And out of that, 27% land us appointments. So
Yeah.
the numbers, speak for themselves. It more than pays for itself.
Exactly.
Every single month.
And it's you want to know that until you start doing it.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So-
Start tracking the numbers too.
Exactly.
Because before I was like, we're doing it. Like I know doctors' office, they're not marketing specialists. They're specialists in whatever trade that they do, whatever they fix. That's what they do. So I think having something on board that says the ROI, return on investment, for that marketing is where you really need to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So I think AI, and then even after hours, we have AI answer the phone. They can book appointments and answer basic questions. But do I fully want to go to? I don't. I like you said,
It's not developed enough yet.
I think
don't
that personal
it's-
interaction is where you're going to build a rapport with the customer. They're also going to feel more comfortable, especially if they're sick.
Yeah.
If they're sick or they need something with medical, that's already a touchy subject. They don't want to talk to a robot.
Exactly.
They want to talk to somebody who says, hey, I've been down this road before. Hey, I had another client similar to your situation, and this was the results.
Yep.
So
And
I
we
think-
can help.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's great. That's great. So now the sales part of it, I mean, is there a sales part of it other than you're selling to the doctor saying, hey, this is my service?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's pretty much it. We
That's
could do consumer too, which we were doing on social media. But
Sure.
I mean, and local events, supporting small businesses, stuff like that.
That's great.
So that's kind of where we're headed right now.
Gotcha.
But
Love
we
it.
just want to be in touch with the communities.
Oh, yeah.
all. So
Now, production, once you're done and you connect that person to the doctor, is that relationship done? Or you're
yeah,
over with?
pretty much done and over with,
Okay.
unless that doctor needs them to go somewhere else. But
Okay.
we do follow up with the patients to make sure that where we put them works for them and they like it, to make sure that they're not being left
Sure.
out in the cold.
That's
right.
great.
Like we don't want them to be placed and then wind up after their first appointment. Oh no, I don't like this guy.
Right.
I don't like this doctor.
Sure.
That doesn't happen very often, but
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah,
We
every
want to
once in a
make
while.
sure. We want to make sure that that patient's happy throughout their whole process of treatment.
That's phenomenal.
So, we want to keep in touch with them. And as far as I do, that when you keep in touch with people, even after you made the sale, even after you've done the work, you provide that extra outlet to, if they need something else done, they come to you. Right?
Absolutely.
You provide a great service. So that's what we're doing.
And then you're going to get the referrals from that. Because once
Yes.
somebody has a good referral, especially something like yours, very specialized.
Yeah.
I think that's great. They're going to refer you to everybody.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Oh, yeah.
I've
Yeah.
always known and always been told, if you provide great service and you actually care about your customers and clients, that's all you
Couldn't
need.
agree more.
Yeah.
Couldn't
that's all you
agree
need.
more. So what in this have I missed that you want to touch on that you do for the client or maybe do for the community that you like to talk about here?
Yeah, so we're supporting local communities too, like baseball, soccer, kids stuff. We support local organizations, things like that. Just trying to open up get our name out there and open up our doors to everybody.
That's great.
And looking forward to helping whoever we can.
Sure. And this is such a niche market. So I usually ask this question, but I think it's be a little different here.
I'm ready for it.
So how could somebody get into your market? Maybe 18-year-old, 19-year-old say, "Hey, I want to go this route to help people." How would they break into that market?
Yeah, so
what are some steps?
kind of how I think I got lucky breaking into it.
Yep.
I literally came out of college and found a practice that was hiring marketing reps, and I learned everything through them,
Got
through
it.
marketing, right?
That's great.
So I learned, I've been in this market for 12 years, 13 years now. So I learned everything at my first place, and then I learned a little bit more at my next place, and then I opened up my own business, and then, you know, we just kind of scaled from there. And once you have that knowledge, I feel like, and the network, right? You know how important a network is. Once you have that, you can kind of twist and turn and pivot depending on what fits the mold the best and what's needed in the community.
Right.
And then you can pitch that to your network, right? So I've always seen that patients are having trouble finding out where to go. So my job was always the connector, even when I worked for medical practices.
Sure.
I was always making sure that they were connected and going to that medical practice. Now I'm the connector, but for all medical practices. So my job's a lot easier this way, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I can help patients get treatment in areas that are local to their house and that take their insurance. And I think that's super important.
Definitely is. I couldn't say that. Yeah. No.
Yeah, but somebody could get into a marketing job. I mean, that's how I started. I think that's probably a good avenue. 90% of the time is you have to learn it. Right. You have to be able to be willing to. I worked in restaurants when I was younger before I started this.
Sure.
I made a killing in restaurants. When I took my first job, I cut my salary in half.
Right.
But I did it so I could learn the business
And grow.
So
you got to sacrifice something.
Gotta sacrifice to learn.
Absolutely. That's the hard part of business.
Yep.
People don't get it. They just want to jump in and I own my own business. I make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Not
It doesn't
the
work
case.
that way.
Yeah, not the case. I see it all the time. So
Yeah.
it's actually funny. So no, I just want to appreciate you coming out here.
Thanks,
What's
Sam.
the best way our audience can get a hold of you if they had some questions?
Yeah, they can, reach me on my cell. I don't know if you have a way to put it on that screen.
Yeah,
you can reach me on my cell, and then Injury Help NJ.
Okay.
We're on Facebook, Instagram, and online. So
Perfect.
injuryhelpnj.com.
Yep. Well, I appreciate you coming.
Thanks, Sam.
Really do. Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thanks.